Hey guys, Jengar here. We're on the dev server. It has just been opened, or at least it has been opened a few hours ago. I discovered it a little bit late, but tonight is the first one, and there is several new planes, and I wanted to go through them with you. Now let's start off with America. They've got two new planes. We've got the AM1 Mahler here, and it's a ground attacker. It looks to have relatively decent speed. It's a 5.3 beta rating as of now. It has this look to be the best setup for me. This is what I would choose, a few bombs and the rest rockets. You have quite a few other loads though. You have tiny tims, you have torpedoes, you have all kinds of combinations and bombs. You have a lot of 250-pound bombs, 14 of them if you want to have only those, or 10 250 pounds with one 2000 pounds. There's so many options here. So nice bomb loads, that's great. We've got your regular 20 millimeters, although these are the T31 cannon version with 800 rounds per gun. That's good armament. Yeah, regular setup here for the flight performance modules. We've got the guns here and, well, several of the bomb pylons, and here you've got the torpedo weaponry installment. The plane itself looks relatively sleek, I have to say. Doesn't look bad. Maybe it will perform in the energy retention and acceleration department. Turn time here isn't bad, although the armament of course will stop it a little bit. And you of course should never trust the stat card. As you know, it's got a little bit of armor, and for the rest, fuel tank seems to be rather compact. That's quite nice. Guns in the wings. Looks to be a quite a good plane. A ground attacker of. So the second new plane for the Americans is the A2D1 Skyshark. This turboprop. We don't have many in the game, of course. As you know, we only have the Wyvern so far, so this is the first for the Americans. If you look at the stat card, it doesn't look too fast, but it is actually fast. I just flew it out in a test flight because I was actually a bit surprised by the stat card. And of course, as I said before, the stat card is never to be trusted. But this didn't look too fast, let's say. And but in the end, when you fly it out, it has very good acceleration, even with this bomb load. And when it's clean at sea level, and I mean, I didn't test it yet to be 100% sure, but I tested enough to know that it can go way over 700 kilometers an hour in indicated airspeed at sea level. So, yeah, well, this is almost 600, but it's quite off, and the acceleration gives a whole different feel to this plane, so it does actually feel quite fast, and I'm very curious to the energy retention and stuff like that as well. With web, the acceleration is absolutely fantastic. So I think this is going to be better than I initially thought when looking at this picture here and looking at this model here. It actually felt quite nice. We're going to have to see how that pans out in reality. Even the turn time and the climb rate seem relatively good. It might even be usable as a fighter, who knows. We're gonna have to test it out when it comes out, but it's definitely a unique looking plane. It does have no armor at all, so there is that. You have a fuel tank. It's gonna be, well, it's quite. It doesn't have any armor, so it might be a problem, but we'll have to see about that. Transmission and the engine is right here. You've got the 200 rounds per gun in all the guns. It is wing mounted gun, so the convergence is going to be important. And yeah, so you have a lot of weaponry, and you have a lot of options as well as to what you want to equip. You've got bomb loads, you've got heavy bombs, you've got smaller bombs, you've got combination, you've got HVAR rockets, and you've got torpedoes, so that is absolutely nice in the bomb load. Not as good as the Mauler there, but still very nice bomb load, and it looks to be an interesting plane, and it is more fast than this initially looks. I can tell you that. even with this whole wreck, it doesn't take off this speed. It's not going to be a gimping 370 kilometers an hour plane when it has all this jazz. It will go faster with all this. At least at the moment in test flight, it does that. So that is positive. Now let's take a look at the German plane we have. The new Me-264, which is an awesome looking bomber, quite big. It has an interesting amount of turrets strung out along the plane and a few lost gunners. We have a little bit of armor for the pilot, but that's it. Here are the lost gunners. They don't have any guns. There is a 20mm gunner here, a 20mm gunner there, 13mm here, 13mm there, and 13mm in the tail below. And you have these 13mm gunner up front here. What these other two gunners are doing beats me. You can tell me what they're doing. They lost their guns, I guess, or maybe these are the ammo runners. It's quite possible, but there seem to be two dead bodies here, sitting here without anything to do. But that might just be me, and maybe they have something. Maybe there should be guns going down here. That would actually be good because that's actually the weak spot of the plane right now. There is no guns at the bottom facing forward. So if you're approaching from this area to from that side or from the other side or from the front, you're gonna have a clean shot on this bomber without any of its armament being able to do anything. I don't know how movable this 13mm is. Might provide some cover down here, but it's not too much. It's only one gun. You do have the 20s on the roof, so that's gonna be lethal. But for the rest, the armament from all other directions is weak, to say the least, or non-existent, to say the worst, from here at the front. And there is also no armor on the plane, as I said. What we do have on the plane is a good bomb load. You have a maximum load of two 1800 kilogram bombs and three 250s. That's gonna secure two bases and maybe a tank or two, if you can get a tank or a set placement from the altitude that this plane works on, or you can throw them on the base or on a third, or on the airfield or on a third base. You can also put on the four 1000 kilogram bombs, but I would go for this setup. It's quite nice and quite comparable to some of the other German relatively new bombers that were released in the last few patches. So all in all, I quite like the look of this plane. It looks big. I hope it's sturdy. It has a big blind spot on the lower ends at the front, so that's going to be a downside. But for the rest, looks to be an interesting bomber. Hopefully it's fast enough. We're going to see about that. It's probably not going to be maneuverable with all this, hugeness to it. But all in all, let's see what it does. It could be good, and we're going to have to see. But yeah, that blind spot, man. We know that from some other bombers, and it's gonna be interesting to see. So the Soviets have no new planes. Let's go over to the British, which do have a new plane. It is the Hunter F6. Now, the armament is basically the same with the 30mm Aiden cannons. It does have air-to-air missiles, 4 of them, right here, creating only a little bit of minuses on the performance. Of course, the stat cards are not to be trusted in a general sense, but overall you have that. Only a little bit of armor here in the front and near the pilot seat, and for the rest you have what you would expect in the plane. So nothing strange there. I guess this might be the radar here, because it has the same cannons as the other Hunter, and doesn't have these bubbles in the fuselage here, and maybe it's radar, who knows. Yeah, could probably be that. Now it looks to be fun, of course. The Hunters are great. It will probably not, no, it's not supersonic. It's gonna lag behind in the speed department a bit, but it is 9.7 battle rating though, so there is that. Seems to have some good climb rate there. Turn time is still decent, although it's a big plane. And we can't trust the stat card, of course. But all in all, new Hunter with air-to-air missiles and probably radar. Gonna be fun, I guess. The 9.7 battle rating though does make sure that you will face top tier jets constantly, and it's gonna have a speed problem there. But we're gonna have to see how that pans out. We've got Japan for the next plane. It is the J5N1. It's a 5.3 battle rating, heavy fighter. See what it has in the armor department. Just a little bit in front might help with. This is 20mm. That's quite nice. A good plate. It will save the pilot from a few extra deaths here and there, I think. It's got everything underneath the pilot. 230s and 220s. Good ammo load on the 20s. A little bit shabby on the 30s. Only 60 rounds per gun. You're gonna be slow firing though, probably, so you're gonna last longer than the 20s in a general sense. It has no other modifications, as in bomb loads or rockets or something. So it's a pure heavy fighter. Japan has quite a few of those, actually, and this one sits here below the Key 83, 5.3 battle rating. Does fill a gap between the Key 83 and the Key 109. So yeah, and I quite like some of these heavy fighters. Others I don't like this one. Haven't liked that really in the past. Key 109 is also terrible playing with the 75mm. But there are some fun planes in the earlier line there. And this plane could be fun as well, like the Key 83 maybe. Gonna have to see, gonna have to fly it out. It has a huge amount of 20mm ammo load, but the 30s you're gonna have to be careful with. But it looks to be fast, and well, maneuverability you can expect, but it seems to have decent climb rate as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to this plane. We have no new Italian planes, so there is nothing to look at here. Nothing new in the Italian line. Then we go on to the French line, which does have the F-86K. Now, could we call this a Sabre these days? I don't. It has a different nose and a different setup, of course. The back end does look quite familiar in that sense. But this is going to be one of those planes again where the Sabres are struggling right now in the top tier jet battles, especially on the speed department, and the fact that they rip more easily, and you're gonna have more fights in the high speed range where the Sabres are more vulnerable, and they also lag behind in speed, of course. This one does as well. If you look at the stat card. For the rest, the performance here is nothing spectacular. And this is a novelty, of course. Nice nose. We have 2 missiles, there is that. But for the rest, we have some armament in the front, that is nice. Got your X-ray. It does have radar. A lot of fuel. We've got the 20mm here. 132 rounds per gun. Not too good, that. Good for 20mm, that's not a lot. It's gonna be touch and go. It's gonna be rapid firing, so you're gonna run through ammo in this plane very, very quickly. And actually, let me go back here for 1 second. And no, that is not radar. At least does not look to be radar, now that I check it. And they are, well, I don't know. Doesn't seem to be radar. Let's go back to the to this plane where we were just checking, man, just checking. But this plane does have radar in the nose, and so that's all right. But for the rest, in the speed department, this plane is going to face some trouble as well. And but it is good looking, and the radar does help a little bit, especially in cloud and night matches, of course. But we're gonna have to see when this goes live. There is quite a few nice planes, but it is relatively limited. One plane for the French, one plane for Japan here. I'm looking forward to this one, by the way. The British Hunter, which doesn't have radar here, so I'm quite curious to what those things are. With the other Hunter not having that in the setup. If somebody knows that from a historical perspective, I'd definitely love to know. So we have no Soviet planes, we have the bomber for the Germans and the 2 planes for the Americans, 2 attackers. So in total that's 6 new planes, I believe. We're gonna run through them relatively quickly, I guess, but there's some nice things in there like this one. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick run through on what we have in the air department for patch 1.89. I will see you in the next video. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in patch 1.89 or before, who knows. Bye bye guys. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.